So, are you ready to roller jab?
The women of the WSL are united, but the Riot's Denise Loden and the Sundogs' Lindsey Francis never signed a peace treaty.
Denise, blonde didn't work because you're not the golden girl. But red seems perfect. Now we can all call you Little Red Riding Hoe.
I wonder where Lindsey got all those scars on her knees. Is it from me knocking her down? Or was it when she asked Logue for a raise?
You know what? If I was as scary as Denise Loden, I'd want to change the way I look, too.
Is WSL General Manager Kenneth Logue III smitten with the voluptuous golden girl?
These allegations are preposterous. While I do have a certain warm place in my heart for Lindsey Francis, it derives purely from my admiration for her as an athlete.
One thing's for sure, Lindsey better bring her security guard.
Lindsey's got that big old pumpkin face. You know what I do to pumpkins, Lindsey? I smash them.
It's the Riot battling the Sundogs, next on Roller Jam. A beautiful look at Orlando, Florida and Roller Jam Arena at Universal Studios. This is the World Skating League. This is Roller Jam, and hey, cue the Jam Girls. They bring us in once again, the Jam Girls, and we are ready to go. I'm Rory Marcus, along with Lee Hawk Rearman. Tonight, it's the Florida Sundogs Kenneth Logue's team against the Illinois Riot, a team that hates Kenneth Logue, just like just about everybody else in this league does. But I think they have even a little bit more angst toward Logue because of Lindsey Francis, whom he protects all the time with bodyguards and doesn't let join the women's movement, and it's gotten under the skin of a lot of people.
Well, present company excluded. I don't think there's many guys here that like Kenneth Logue. Lindsey Francis, you see her with her bodyguard being protected by Denise Loden. Now remember, Lindsey Francis and Kenneth Logue are kind of like, I guess, keeping themselves distant from this women's movement, and she needs all the help she can get, does Lindsey Francis, with Denise Loden in the house. But on the men's side, we talk about royalty, Rory.
Oh, yes. Lord Scott Patterson. Logue brought him in from England. He's protecting him as well. And Patterson, when he gets in trouble, he hides.
Well, look at this guy. He says he's, I guess, a descendant of royalty from over there across the big pond. Well, King Richard says, hey, this is my house. I'm the king. And he's got a couple of subjects like Ray Robles to back him up, doesn't he?
Richard Brown is the king around here. That is for sure. And we're just about ready to see who'll skate out now. Let's get ready for the player introductions. Let's hear it from everybody. What's the key? Speed, athleticism, agility, and teamwork. Yes, Sundogs. Yes. There goes Lord Scott Patterson as Logue plays his video and drives around the track in an all-terrain vehicle. He considers this all-out war. He puts on a helmet, has his eyes blackened, broke his nose, but give him credit, he's still here.
Well, I think when he locks them down in that Sundog door and these guys don't have access to media, or radio, or television, I don't think they know about the women's movement here, Rory. Denise Loden, Stacy Blitch, who are they?
Wouldn't you hate to be locked down in that Sundog dorm? He probably has a couple of magazines they could read all about warfare and how to be a good citizen. Maybe even Boy's Life. Rusty Montgomery's always enjoyed that.
I heard that about Logue.
But there's not much to do there, I'm sure, other than study old tapes of roller derby. That's Logue's style. But you know what? The Illinois Riot, they don't like Logue. Either do the enforcers or anybody else, for that matter. Logue's all dressed up and ready to go to work. But let's see what happens when the Riot and King Richard and his crew get to the track. once again, they emerge almost from out of nowhere. No ramp needed for these guys. The Riot. Denise Loden, there she is, ready to go.
Last time we saw her, Rory, she formed a one-game alliance with Stacy Blitz in honor of this women's movement. A lot of controversy whether she actually pushed Denise Loden over that rail with the help of the Hellcat Tink Miller.
All glories to the king. The royal entrance for Richard Brown. Age unknown. Maybe he's wearing it on his back. He's number 58. 5 decades of roller derby. Between Richard and Ray Robles, they have a wealth of knowledge in this game, and it helps them out a lot. Denise Loden on the women's side. She'll be gunning for Lindsey Francis again, and now Broadway Danny Wolf is with Denise.
All right, thank you, Rory. Denise, tonight you face your arch rival, your nemesis, and I'm talking about the Golden Girl, Lindsey Francis. Now, we know she's one of the spokeswomen as well for the Women's Skating League as she wants to create. But I got to ask you, last time you faced her, Kenneth Logue III brought out a security staff to watch her back so you wouldn't go trailer park on her. I don't see any security guards tonight, Denise.
You know what? As far as the security guards go, Lindsey's going to get her ass kicked again tonight. And it's a good... And the best thing that Kenny baby, Pimp Daddy Kenny, ever did for Lindsey was put that revolving door in her bedroom.
Let me say this, Denise. Also, you're on the cover of the new World Skating League calendar, which is a beautiful picture of yourself. Also, there's a great picture of Lindsey Francis with her horse. Very cute.
Hasn't she ever heard of electrolysis?
That's the horse. That's the horse, not Denise.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Me. I'm sorry, but the gray babe over here, why don't you take your middle-aged, trailer park, trash-talking ass back. No. Wait 1 second. Back to the Happy Hooker thrift shop where you got the damn outfit.
Hey, Logue, you better be careful, baby, because Lindsey's liable to suck the life right out of you.
Pleasant little exchange to start the day.
They're just getting warmed up, Rory. This is how they show each other how much they like each other.
The game hasn't even started.
Well, I think it has in the eyes of Lindsey Francis and Denise Loden, and they'll have their chance. I don't even know why they're escorting them away from each other. As soon as they get that starting line, they're going to go after it. The Golden Girl.
Good job,
She leads the Sundogs in scoring the last 2 games, and in Kenneth Logue's book, she leads them in a lot more. And Denise Loden, I don't care what she's wearing, I don't care what hair she has. Kills, points, IMA, she does it all, Rory.
Kenneth Logue's book is written in very small, neat handwriting.
Boy's life.
Hey, by the way, that calendar, you can get one. 315-458-8123 is the number for the Roller Jam swimsuit calendar. I'll repeat it. 315-458-8123. Here we go. The game is underway. The Riot and the Sundogs. What's going to happen? Amy Craig is out on the first jam for the Riot against Lindsey Francis. So she wasn't shy about grabbing that jammer's helmet after her little tiff with Denise.
Tiff.
These are both good skaters as well. Amy Craig, one of the top skaters and scorers in the league. And Lindsey Francis becoming a big star with Logue in her corner. Denise Loden goes back to block. Lets Craig go by and then whacks Francis. Meanwhile, Katie Cooper is trying to stop Amy Craig. So 2 blockers going at it.
Wow.
And then a somersault is delivered to Francis. Now Loden will go ahead and see if she can help Amy Craig through the pack. Still 10 seconds on the jam, and there's one. Amy picked up an easy one right there, thanks to Denise Loden. Good start to the game for Denise.
1 Riot point, 1 red.
She always comes to play, Rory. She always comes to play. Katie Cooper tried to bar the door, but to no avail. Points for the Riot with the whip. See you, Katie.
Just 1 point. That's enough for now. We'll be back in a minute. They're pitching a shutout. 1-0 Riot. The game is in the opening minutes. Welcome back to Roller Jam Arena. 1-0 is the score. These rules won't tell you anything about uniforms, and that's a good thing. There are 4 jam periods in Roller Jam. The women are on the track for periods 1 and 3, the men 2 and 4. 5 skaters per team. 2 of them are jammers. You can pick them out. They have the black helmet with the stripe, and the jammers score points when they lap members of the opposing team. That's the only way you score points. That has nothing to do with fights or battles or tiffs or anything else.
Well, we're here to tell you about that.
Yeah, we can watch that on our own. Make a comment or two and just let them go at it. What else can we do, huh? Now here they are at each other once again. Denise Loden and Lindsey Francis right away early in this game, and Francis falls down. Loden kind of mocked her with her skating style after that. But Laura Heiser takes up the chase. Loden says, hey, wait a minute. I just took Francis down. How about you?
Oh, wow.
And how about an assist from Millie Guthrie? Guthrie adds the assist to Heiser from the bench. Now, about those rules again. Here comes Loden up to Lindsey Francis. Oh, a tomahawk right to the back. Abraham's there. And now she's not. And another one goes down. That was Katie Cooper. Denise Loden gets them all. And what a start to this game for the Riot.
She passed every single person on your team.
The Riot skater wasn't on the track. She revved out onto the track and took my skater
She
out.
never got off of the infield onto the track.
Her whole
Your skater came to the infield.
He's
That's
livid.
your own skater's fault.
Well, about this.
And Millie Guthrie, I tell you what, the people like Millie Guthrie, not known for their physical prowess, joined Denise Loden in this assault on the Sundogs. That man's in trouble.
This big, great leader.
The crowd is not in Loeb's corner. At least that part of the crowd wasn't. 6-0, the Riot have jumped out. Denise Loden has to head toward the penalty box after Loeb's complaints.
Well, remember, Kenneth Loeb is still the general manager of this, or actually well, he is the general manager of this league, not to mention the leader of the Sundogs. I guess he still has some influence over Sean Corbin. You'd like to think it doesn't come out here during play, but apparently it did, Rory.
Amy Craig and Kathy Evangelo becomes just Amy Craig, and she says, do you see how easy that was? Evangelo says, man, what happened? And now coming up from the back is Laura Heiser. Heiser and Craig are both very good skaters. Heiser's tall. She's got long legs and a smooth skating style. Craig goes by for a moment. And they're both having a little trouble getting by. Now Amy Craig's put into that rail. And Heiser's going to get the points with a big assist from Lindsey. Cooper trying to knock Gina Lombardo out of there. And Francis comes by and does the job herself. The points for Heiser and the big assist for Lindsey Francis.
There's Denise Loden out of the penalty box. I tell you what, Rory, that jam showed as much the value of Denise Loden as it did the talent of the Sundogs. With her in the penalty box, they're on a power jam. And when you don't have Denise Loden behind you somewhere, you don't have to look out of the corner of your eyes. And the Sundogs took full advantage, and they're celebrating. They're a real unified team, Rory. This Kenneth Loeb, say what you will about the man with the Band-Aid and the black eyes. He has them just iron fist clad tight.
They play hard, they skate clean, and sometimes they even win. 6-3 is the score now. There are Loden and Francis together again. And I don't mean that in a good way. Laura Heiser for the Sundogs against Amy Craig. And here are 4 superior jammers in this league, all out there together. And whoever gets the better of it this time might not the next time. They all know what they're doing. And Loden gets the best of it this time, along with Amy Craig. Good play. Boy, they worked that out in practice and executed it to perfection.
Oh, wow.
And again, the whip underneath. Can Craig get those points? Corbin's watching. What'll he give her?
4-2. 2 red. 2 red. The other skater was on the infield.
2 for the Riot.
Wasn't pretty at all. Denise Loden with the whip to Amy Craig. We've seen that before. Usually she slides underneath there. Oh, it goes over. Denise Loden to kiss the GM. Ew.
Imagine having somebody like that run over and give you a kiss and you don't like it. Loeb hates it. He can't stand it. It's against everything the man stands for. We'll be back in a moment. Back at Roller Jam Arena, the first period is history. It was a good one for the Riot. That'll make King Richard happy. He's down there with Danny and Lode Patterson.
Thank you, Rory. I feel very honored to be surrounded by royalty here. And Lord Scott Patterson, you said you had a very special challenge for the king.
The king? You ain't nothing but a Burger King, Richard. Listen, we need to get that crown off your head. And as a direct descendant of the real crown, I suggest we race for it.
What are you talking about, race for it?
This match, the winner of this match, whoever wins this match wears the crown forever.
So if the Sundogs win, you get his crown. Well, then, if you win, what do you get?
Wait a minute. He must be out of his mind. I don't give up my crown to nobody. And, Chump, if you want to play big time, if you think you can win, when I win, you bow down on your knees and pay homage to the king.
Well, I think the challenge has been set. We'll see what happens. Hey, Rory, how would Patterson look in that crown?
I believe his head's too small for that thing.
He could wear it as like a dress. And dressed they are for the men's period. Lord Patterson. He says he's a descendant of King Richard. I don't know if we can check the stat on that. I don't know if there is one, but he has issued a challenge. I guess we're talking about royalty pink slips here, Rory. King Richard Brown versus Lord Patterson for all the marbles. Here we go.
Let's be serious. If this guy was an heir to the English throne, would he be a member of the Florida Sundogs? 8-3, the Riot lead. First jam of the second period. Tumbling and falling. Just about everybody, it seems. One man's left standing, and you know who it is? It's the Lord himself. He gets out on that jam. Maybe he's serious about wanting to get that crown. Why you'd want that crown when you're a member of royalty, I don't know. I think it looks better on Richard. Richard's back there to say, not so fast, buddy. Slams him with the elbow a couple of times. Patterson can't get by him, but he might get some help now as Parker and Rusty Montgomery go back to assist, and they push Richard out of the way and jump on his back. That allows Lord Patterson to go low and then go high and get through. He's going to try and get them all. He got knocked down by his own man inadvertently. Parker knocked Patterson down. 4 seconds left, and he got them all anyway. 5 points for the Sundogs.
This has been the modus operandi, the MO, so to speak, for these these Florida Sundog men. The Lord hiding ever so slightly behind the likes of Rusty Montgomery and Captain America. And they come up and they bully just about everybody. Gamble takes it. The King takes it. Lord Patterson sneaks by, scores some points. They're working together. Lord Patterson might get that crown.
Look at Logue. Those are D'Amato fans, and Logue knows it.
Oh, did you see Denise Logue grab his rear end, Roy? First he tries to kiss him.
As soon as
he has no friends.
He's getting somebody thrown out of here. Logue had somebody tossed out of here, and I think it was because that's the guy that had a sign that said Kenneth Logue is a Democrat. Those are fighting words in the Logue family. Oh, look at that. You don't have to punch the guy. I guess he's resisting. I don't know how you can resist a nice fellow like that.
That was Lindsey Francis. I guess he's pretty much just general security for the Kenneth Logue troops.
Logue had that guy tossed out of here. Wow. Well, he can go home, back to Sundog camp and read his Barry Goldwater book later on, but right now there's a game to play.
Wasn't the Republican National Convention in Miami this year, Rory? Maybe not.
Wherever it was, Logue was there. Maybe he was selling peanuts, but he was around. Richard Ray Robles now gets out there for the Illinois Riot, and he's against Micah Martin. Martin, a pretty good jammer, and Robles has all the experience on him, though. Ray grabs him around the neck, sends him up to the rail. This usually means trouble, and Robles is holding on to somebody, and it does this time, too, because he sets him up for Brown. And then they go on to get some points. Robles passing Sundogs, picking up points, knocking Rusty Montgomery down.
4 red on the play. 4 red.
4 Riot points.
Denise Logue loves it. They're calling this the King Swing. Ray Robles, we saw this last time they played the Sundogs, Rory. We saw this taken to the Lord. Well, now Micah Martin is the recipient of the King Swing.
Robles putting that cast right into the face of Micah Martin. He couldn't get away from him.
And the King comes over and cleans up. These Sundogs might not be Democrats, but right now they could use a little welfare, huh, my buddy?
Third jam of this second period. 12-8. The Riot on top of Logue's Sundogs. And Scott Patterson gets out there. Lord Patterson against the king, Richard Brown, who says, I'm still the king no matter what you say. Knocks him down. Brian Gallagher, a great skater. Whoa! He and Brown both go down. Gallagher gets up, and he has a chance to score some points. This guy would play into Logue's system perfectly. Tremendous skater, Brian Gallagher. Richard Brown took quite a fall. That would have knocked the king's crown off no matter what. Now what? Patterson tackles the king. And I think he's mad at himself for letting it happen. Gallagher goes through and gets the points and calls it off.
5 yellow. 5 yellow points.
The king's going to go get some retribution. He's looking for Patterson.
Well, he's not going to get him that way. King, you're many things, but you're not that fast.
He's chasing him. He can't catch him. Patterson's hiding, as he always does.
Keep on knocking, but you can't come in, King. But Gallagher, Brian Gallagher, that's one thing about Logue's Iron Fist is a lot of these guys are kind of unassuming. You forget about them. You see Lord Patterson go right to the king. He says, I'm taking that crown out of your shins. And Gallagher, a pickup on the waiver wire after the All-Star game. We forgot this guy was in the league, and now he shows up in the Sundogs. Kind of quiet there, locked down at Sundog Central, the dorm, by Kenneth Logue, but he comes out here and kind of quietly scores some points.
You know, I think Richard Brown was embarrassed that he let Patterson tackle him like that on such a simple play. He thought he should have seen him coming. Patterson's out there on the jam once again. 13-12, the Sundogs lead it by 1. Mo Sanders is the jammer for the Riot. Sanders and Patterson kind of wrap each other up, and it's Sanders who goes down. And now he's mad at himself. You look at Patterson, you don't think he can do much damage. He's so skinny, but he's made a big impact in this game.
Watch it, 20 feet, Red, move it up, move it up, move it up.
You hear Sean Corbin saying 20 feet. If a blocker gets out 20 feet from the pack, he goes in the penalty box.
Robles and Brown are working on Patterson. They've got a hold of him. And they set him up to be knocked down by his own teammates. There's the experience. Rusty Montgomery and Bill Barker fell for one there.
Gamble loves it, the king. Everybody's laughing here for the Riot. It's a riot for the Riot. Captain America takes out his own man.
The Sundogs will pick themselves up as Robles and Brown have done it again. It's halftime in a one-point game, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Roller Jam Arena and the World Skating League. The tough first period, first half really, is in the books between the Riot and the Sundogs. And man, oh man, I'll tell you what, the women really set the tone for this game. Denise Loden and Lindsey Francis going after each other right off the bat. And as tough as Loden was, Francis wasn't bad either. Let's take a look at what we're talking about, because Denise Loden really took to the track and she meant business. She teamed up with Amy Craig, gave Amy the points, knocked down the two Sundog jammers, and on they went to score some points. But Lindsey Francis came right back and showed she's not only a good skater, a good scorer, but she's tough. Look at that right hand, knocks two of them out of there.
Well, man, that looks like a Mark D'Amato meat cleaver that he brings out sometime. But right here, Brian Gallagher takes the king down, and I think we had a challenge, although we weren't sure. I think that all the crown, the Lord Patterson and the King Richard Brown crown is up for grabs. In fact, I'm looking over at the penalty box, Rory. I see it on the gate over there. And don't tell Micah Martin who's king, because he knows the king who took him over right there is king in his book.
Richard Brown would hate to lose that nice new crown he has. Kenneth Logue would love to have it. Right now, he's with Broadway Danny Wolf.
All right, thank you, Rory and Hawk. I'm with Kenneth Logue, as we can see. For a second, the obvious question I've got to ask you is, your Golden Girl is skating against the Barracuda. Why no security tonight?
It's simply not necessary. Lindsey Francis can take care of herself.
Well, also, you know, your cardinal rule is no fighting. Lindsey's been fighting all night. What do you do about that?
I have distinguished from the beginning between the kind of fighting that's used as a cowardly tactic to inflict injury on an opponent and the sort of fisticuffs one is forced into in self-defense. I have never punished a skater for defending themselves.
Sometimes it seems as if you have a different set of rules for Lindsey Francis.
Daniel, There is a line across which even people of breeding cannot be pushed without retaliation.
All right, you know what? I'm trying to do a serious interview here, and Denise Loden is over here blowing kisses at you.
Really wants. I know what Kenny really wants, Kenny, baby. Come on.
All I can say is that I would easily be the best Denise Loden has ever had.
Back to you, Rory and Hawk.
I wonder how he knows that. Look at her. She's after him. You know what? Lindsey Francis and Kenneth Logue, are they together forever? I don't know. Let's find out more about those two.
One might ask why our ultra-conservative general manager would place Lindsey Francis, one of the WSL's sexiest bikini-wearing skaters, on his team? Does General Manager Kenneth Logue III have more on his mind than skating when it comes to his player Lindsey Francis? Logue was instrumental in making Lindsey the star of the Rustlers. He also named Lindsey the roller derby queen.
From the Texas Rustlers, Lindsey Francis!
Oh my God! Even though the ballad said Denise Loden. Plus, Lindsey consistently shows her skin while skating as a member of Logue's conservative Sundogs.
Lindsey Francis is a beacon of beauty. If her attire is occasionally revealing, I permit her to wear it as a blatant mockery of those sex-obsessed mongrels who are polluting the rest of this league.
Mr. Logue is a brilliant man and a wonderful coach. He really cares about his players.
I say we check out what our undercover cameras caught on tape.
What's going on? What?
You! Off the property right now! Hey, hey!
If I've ever been spotted off of the track with one of my skaters, it is in a clear-cut coach/player situation discussing game issues. I pride myself in getting to know my skaters as well as I possibly can.
If Lindsey Francis is not temptation enough, what about Loden and what about those three? How about it, Kenneth? We'll be back with the second half in just a minute. Welcome back once again. It's 13-12 Sundogs. That means Florida has one up in the race for the crown tonight. And we are about ready to go. Third period underway. The women on the track as we start the second half, and Denise Loden takes Lindsey Francis right to the rail and puts her forehead down on it. Man, that took about 3 seconds before Loden was after Francis. Amy Craig and Laura Heiser on the jam. Craig's number 57 for the Riot. Laura Heiser, number 7 for the Sundogs. We've talked about them all night. They're both such good jammers, great skaters. Adrian Medrano slipped and fell there a second ago, out of the pack for the Riot. And now Craig makes Heiser fall down. Logue's complaining she grabbed the back of her head.
Oh, wow.
Loden knocks down 2 Sundogs, and Craig gets the points. Do you think Kenneth Logue ever looks over at Denise Loden and says, maybe she is kind of sexy?
I don't know. Score. I'm going to not touch that one, Rory, because I get in trouble by our production staff every time I say something. But Amy Craig, this is the kind of thing she's able to do here in the Riot uniform now that she's away from the Bod Squad, out of the shadow. Denise Loden encourages it. And a little bit later, you saw the double King Kong.
And
Denise Loden, she can even work the tongue.
She is either Logue's worst nightmare or his best dream. But he'll never tell us which it is. All right, Jam 2 in this ladies' period. Gina Lombardo's out there for the Riot, and Lindsey Francis has grabbed the helmet with Loden in the penalty box.
Here you go, keep up with
Lombardo, a little wild child. Trying to stay up, but can't do it as Francis knocks her down.
And remember last time in the first period, Rory, when Denise Loden was in the penalty box, the Sundogs took full advantage and picked up a whole mess of points. Let's see if they can repeat.
Francis now waiting for Norma Marshall because she doesn't want to have any distractions when she tries to score the points. Adrian Medrano and Millie Guthrie set up a double block. Combined, they weigh in about 95 pounds, and Francis can't get through the first time. But with Abraham and Katie Cooper there, never mind. As far as Millie Guthrie and Adrian Medrano are concerned, there goes the whip and right on through. Lindsey Francis picks up the points and calls it off. So another good play by the Sundogs.
I don't know what Medrano was doing with the hammer, Katie Cooper, and Lindsey Francis. It looked like homecoming. First you see Lindsey Francis get herself out all alone. Takes care of Millie Guthrie, or Norma Marshall, I believe, a little bit later. But you know how when the team comes out for homecoming, they bust through that big paper sign? That's what Adrian Medrano looked like right there. Wow.
You know, little Adrian Medrano, she's about 5 feet tall. Believe it or not, she's had 5 children. She's a role model for mothers everywhere. She can be a mother of 5 and still skate in this league. Incredible. Now the third jam of this women's period. Laura Heiser and Amy Craig. Craig grabs Heiser by the hair but was unable to knock her down. And they continue their personal battle out there, and Laura Heiser says, this time I'm going to get you. The Sundogs playing pretty tough, and look at this. Lindsey Francis throws Denise Loden to the track.
1 yellow point. 1 yellow point.
1 point for the Dogs.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's get this pack.
And I don't see Sean Corbin calling any kind of penalty on Lindsey Francis.
Well, you don't see Kenneth Logue chastising her either, Rory. He seems to have a quick temper to anybody in this league, specifically Mark D'Amato, who promote anything but clean play. But when his beloved little Lindsey Francis, the Golden Girl, does it, he turns a blind eye. That double standard is really turning heads here in the World Skating League.
Both of his eyes are blind at the moment.
They're turned on. He looks like one of those, what are those things called? Chameleons that look all directions out of both eyes?
He looks like he got into a fight somewhere, and he did. Washington blackened both of his eyes and broke his nose. 16-12, the Sundogs lead. Loden and Craig have been a great team.
Oh, wow.
Once again, they knock Laura Heiser down with an old roller derby move. Doesn't take much force, just a shot to the back of the knee will send you sprawling. Francis is trying to catch up from the back of the pack. Craig glances over her shoulder. Loden goes on to knock Katie Cooper down. Then they kind of roll Francis over Cooper. Loden's breaking apart the pack. Janet Abraham goes down hard. And Amy Craig's going to get through there and get them all.
8 red on the flag.
Along with Loden.
Total of 8 red. 8.
Laura Heiser picks herself up. Denise Loden and Amy Craig got 4 each. And once again, the Riot on top in this game after a big 8-point jam right there. They're up 20-16. We're back at Roller Jam Arena, 20-16. The Riot leading the Sundogs. Broadway Danny Wolf has one of the Riot members, Ray Robles. Broadway, be careful. Ask him nicer. He'll throw chili powder in your face.
Thank you, Rory. I'll keep that in consideration. First, if I wasn't in my right mind, I'd have your body searched right now.
For what?
It seems like every other game you hide some kind of chili powder.
I've never thrown chili powder.
You've never thrown chili powder?
No, I have not.
You know, how about turn around, Ray? Look up at the Jumbotron. We're going to show a play. Oh, describe that.
Esto es tuyo. Esas máquinas que no saben lo que están haciendo. Y tú ni sabes lo que estás diciendo ahorita.
He said that they dotted that up. He said that they used that computer back in their truck to take that and put that up.
No saben nada.
He has never, ever thrown anything at anybody. And he said you people should be treating me like the king I am.
Let's go back, Rory and Huck. We're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere. Go back to you, Roy.
Wow. He said all that, huh?
Well, especially the part about King Richard should be treated like the king. I'm sure that's what he said, Rory.
Yeah, he was talking about chili powder. I've never thrown it. And by the way, be sure and treat Richard Brown like the king.
Well, Lord Patterson, he's vying for that crown. We'll get to see who's the true royalty here, Rory, in this period.
Oh, Richard Brown's the king, whether he wins that crown or he doesn't. But we'll find out if Lord Scott Patterson can wear it for a day or two. He's being double-teamed right now. That's Micah Martin out there. And oh, that's Micah Martin over the rail. Nice work by Travis Wills and Mike Tanner. Tanner's become a pretty good jammer in this league, and Travis Wills isn't bad either. They can both skate like the wind. Bill Barker doesn't show much reaction to anything, and As far as Logue's concerned, that's fine. He encourages you to have no facial expressions. Barker trying to hold off the jammers as Robles goes back to give Barker a couple of whacks.
Oh, he did it again.
What was that? What do you think that was, Ray? All of a sudden, Barker's eyes are burning. They're tearing up. Robles threw that chili powder right in his face. Whether he says treat Brown like the king or not, that's exactly what he did.
I'm sure he wasn't playing Cupid. That wasn't love dust. Oh, yeah, he washes his hands clean. Rusty Montgomery. A little bit late there, Rusty.
Well, what are you going to do? I don't know where he hides that thing. It's like Gaylord Perry. You could never find it. He knows where it is.
Well, I'm not going to be the one to frisk him before a game to find out if he has any, but there you see a slow motion replay right in your face, people, and Bill Barker got it right in his face. You know what he said there? He said, Hawk is the best announcer ever, I think, Rory. I know a little Spanish. Very little.
Between
whose breasts?
Between her bloody shirt. Look over there.
I think Logue has been so
that could be anything.
So upset by Denise Loden and Ray Robles, he's actually looking at Denise's breast.
I don't. Look, I see something, but I don't see chili powder. Are you crazy? There's nothing in there.
I mean, there's something in there. There's something in there, but there's nothing in there. I feel sexual harassment suit coming on. All right, you file sexual harassment complaints with the union, okay? That's all I can tell you.
Sean Corbett.
Here we go.
You're warned. My
Hats off to him. Now he's playing judge, jury, and executioner. Sometimes he's a cop. Sometimes he's a psychologist or a psychiatrist for Sean Atkinson. Then he almost has to strip search Denise Loden. Actually, I want Sean Corbett's job.
Logue's not having a very good night at the moment because Robles pulled that chili powder out at an opportune moment for the Riot. They have the lead and they have the jammer out as well.
And the spiritual leader, Captain America, due to that I guess, chili powder incident, is on the bench, Rory. He can't see. They need him right now.
Oh, his eyes are watering something fierce. And Mo Sanders gets up there where Rusty Montgomery will try and stop him. If the Riot score here, they'll have a big lead in this game with only 2 jams left. Sanders can't get by Rusty. Oh, my goodness. I guess he can't get by the Rusty nail maneuver. Here comes Gallagher. Robles doesn't have any powder left. He'll have to rely on old-fashioned roller derby skills.
One yellow.
One Sundog point. They just kept Lord Scott Patterson from falling over the rail. He says, thank God you're here, Rusty.
Well, they better get more than one or that crown is going to be stay with the king, Rory, and Lord Patterson's going to be embarrassed.
Rusty nail time for Mo Sanders. Put spots on his head. 22-17. We'll be right back. Only 2 jams left in the game. The Riot leading 22-17. If the Riot loses this game, Richard Brown will relinquish that margarine crown right over to Lord Patterson. 2 jams left, and here we go with the next to last one. Travis Wills sneaks through on top of the track for the Riot. Sigmund Williams says, no, not this time. Give it to Micah Martin, and Martin gets taken down by Wills. Sigmund can't get out of the pack. So it's Wills and Micah Martin now catching him. Oh, Micah Martin showing tremendous speed to catch Wills from behind. And Martin now with a chance to pull the Sundogs even in this game, if he can do it. The King's back there. After all, his crown's on the line here. He wants to be involved. He bumps the hip of Micah Martin. He's just kind of toying with him. The pack is down. Brown is down, and Micah Martin flies over the top. If he got them all, I said he could tie it. Did he get them all? He got 4, and it's a 1-point game.
It's coming down to the last jam, Rory. Captain America seemed to have wiped his eyes clear. Micah Martin decided to show up, show the teacher a thing or two, and you saw the vertical leap. Wow, what a great jam by Micah Martin when he had to get it done, and he's enthusiastic, and he deserves to be.
Logue's coaching right down to the last play. Martin saying, come on, guys, I got you within 1. Now let's win it. High five for April Toodle down there. 22. Oh, they gave him 5. 22-22 is the score now.
And that's what Kenneth Logue was arguing, Rory. He'd only put 4 points, did Sean Corbin up there, and the King he's got his crown on.
It's serving as a jammer's helmet. He says, if I lose this crown, it's going to be on the track, brother.
This is bizarre. It's
Lord
great.
Scott Patterson's out there to try and take it away from him. Richard won't let it go easily, I guarantee you that. Brown ahead on the jam. The score tied. Final jam of the night. Who's going to pull this thing off?
It's a Royal Rumble.
Lord Scott Patterson's about 2 strides behind Richard Brown. The King. I'm surprised he hasn't turned around and knocked Patterson down. Now he turns around. Oh! The crown is yanked off his head, but Brown gets the points. Brown got the points, and he gets the crown right back. How much time left? 12 seconds. They're chasing the King. The King's going to get through and get some more. There's a 3rd point. He calls it off. They're not going to get the crown off his head that easily, I guarantee you.
That expression, that crowd, that crown says it all. He's the King, Roy.
Richard Brown saw Patterson yank that helmet off, that crown off, but he was smart enough to score the points and then get the crown back.
You said it. Lord Patterson got a little hectic, a little ahead of himself.
You search her tops. You search. That is not my job to search anybody's clothes. I will not be involved in a sexual harassment complaint. I'm not going to have a suit against me. Look, that's the score.
Logue's still crying about that chili powder. After Ray Robles threw the chili powder, he stuffed the baggie right into Denise Loden's cleavage. Logue saw it. What's he doing looking over there anyway? 25-22, the Riot wins the game. Richard keeps his crown. He's celebrating. His team is around him. And Broadway Danny Wolf offer our sincere congratulations.
Rory Marcus congratulates you.
But grab the King. I can't be beat. I'm the best there ever was, the best there ever will be. I am the best in the West, East, North, and South, and you get on your knees.
First one.
Your knees.
Yeah. Bow to no one.
You will bow to the King. You open your mouth. Bow.
Push me out. I bow to the King of Roller Jam.
Well, we heard it. Richard Brown wins the bet. Lord Patterson, Kenneth Logue taking him away and embarrassing. Damn, that was hilarious.
What a humiliating.
The key touch. Back to you, Rory and Hawk.
What a humiliating moment for Scott Patterson and Kenneth Logue. And look at that, he had no choice. On his knees in front of the King. Oh, Richard Brown. That's his kind of moment, isn't it?
Woo, I love it.
He keeps his crown, his team wins the game, and he'll go out tonight and celebrate.